Hello, and welcome from Jupiter Systems in Silicon Valley. Today, we're really excited to discuss our latest release of Canvas version 6.5. Want to thank everybody in advance for taking the time out to join us today as we really dive deeper into what for us is really a milestone release in Canvas, which stretches it across all of our major hardware platforms. Canvas 6.5 is our award-winning unified secure management platform. And we're going to spend a little bit of time today diving into the new features, a little bit of roadmap, a couple of use cases, that sort of thing. I'm Justin Chong, VP of Sales and Marketing here at Jupiter, and I'm joined by Devin Wright, the smart guy in the room, who is our Senior Product Manager and 13-year Jupiter veteran. So again, we're going to talk about some of the new features in Canvas today. The biggest of which really is the ability to control PixelNet. So now Canvas spans across our two major hardware platforms, really giving our end users and our system integrator partners some flexibility in terms of hardware deployment and options in terms of control. There's several other features that go into this as well, and we'll dive into that in a little bit as we go forward. Little housekeeping first. During the Q&A session, please use the question feature in Zoom. Use the Q&A feature in Zoom. It allows us to better track it. We're only looking in one place while we're doing this to answer the questions. And if we don't get to any of the questions at the end, we can follow up because it allows us to download those questions, whereas chat does not. So we're going to be showing a simulated video wall driven by a PixelNet system here in our headquarters. But to do that, you can modify the Zoom layout. So when Devin gets to the demo, go ahead and change your layout to best suit your needs on your desktop. The easiest way to do that is switch to active speaker mode, and then you can resize the share and the content windows to see what we're looking at, to see what we're showing you, as well as the content that's going on the slides. So after we do that, when we do that simulated demo, we'll talk a little bit about use cases as we go forward, go through the Q&A at the end of it, and briefly at the start, we're going to talk a little bit about Jupiter for our friends who might not know exactly who we are and what we do. So Devin, why don't we jump into the presentation? All right. So first, why Jupiter Systems? We invented video wall processors, I think, is the simplest way to put it. We've been around for 40 years, been really kind of looking at market opportunities, innovating, bringing product to market that fits a need for our customers and kind of shows the path to the future for our clients and for our different environments that we've been playing in. We've got a global footprint. Many of you on the call today are scattered around the world. We have more than 25,000 installations across 50 different countries over our 40-year history. So we've been around and we've been in production a long time with a lot of our products. Canvas, for instance, was first released more than 8 years ago. PixelNet has been in production in various forms for almost 14 years. So we are tried and true and have been tested in the most critical and taxing environments imaginable. We are display agnostic. When it comes to our video wall processors, all the processor really cares about is the information in the video that it's ingesting, how it routes it, how it's managed and controlled, and Canvas allows you to do a lot of things around that management, control, collaboration. And then what resolution it's getting spit out at through a standard connector. So it doesn't really matter whether it's a projector, a cube, an LCD, LED, CRT. I think people still use CRTs, but we can drive pretty much anything on any brand. So from a processor standpoint, we can drive anything that's out there. All of our products have been developed and deployed for mission critical 24/7 applications. We'll talk a lot about that today, but really the key on that is hardware redundancy, software redundancy. We know that where we're playing is really, in many cases, life and death, literally life and death. So we've built our systems from the ground up to make sure that they're available when our users and when our end users and when their customers really need it. We are designed, manufactured, software developed, and assembled in the United States. We'll talk a little bit about that as we go forward, but it has a fair amount of implications in terms of compliance and regulations. But really, we're a US-based corporation. Our software design's here, our hardware design's here, and our manufacturing is here in Hayward, California, just north of San Jose. We offer airtight security, and Devin will dive into some of the security features as we go forward, but we are approved and deployed both in terms of hardware and software in many US military applications, 3-letter agencies in the United States, on a global level, dozens, hundreds of military and governmental applications around the world, each of which have their own security protocols, which we meet. And we really do offer this kind of unique solution when it comes to managing your video wall, and more than managing your video wall, managing the workflow and the user environment in the control room and outside of the control room. And we'll talk a little bit about how Canvas extends the control room to remote locations, whether that's a mobile location, whether that's a home-based worker, or somebody in a remote office location, and enable you to collaborate like you're sitting right next to each other. So again, there we go. We talk a lot about our award-winning hardware and software solutions, and it's made in the USA. As I said, everything from a software and hardware level is developed, designed, manufactured here in Hayward, California. We're an ISO 9001, 2015 production facility, and for governmental compliance, it is made in USA. On our product family, we have recently been, doing a fair amount of innovation in terms of where Jupiter's going and what we're doing. And I talked a little bit about at the beginning about our history of seeing needs in the market and addressing those and bringing product to market that's unique and fits a value that our clients are looking for. And some of those are, PANA, which we did our webinar on last month, which is our 21:9 5K large format interactive display family. And there's a family of product there. We're happy to talk to you about that offline, via email, that sort of thing. Or you can look at the webinar on our YouTube channel through our website, jupiter.com. Got a plug in there for that one, marketing. And then Zavis, which is our unique active matrix mini LED video wall technology, which is coming to market now. We'll have more information coming out about that as we go forward, but we've got a lot of features built around that really do add a lot of value in terms of eye fatigue, motion handling. About 25% of the power consumption and 25% of the heat that's driven by other LEDs. We've got an embedded camera technology in the video wall itself. So again, lots of forward-looking features and options that we're doing in our product family. Canvas, which is what we're going to talk about today, which we have been continually innovating for the last 8 years. Again, this is version 6.5, and probably the biggest improvement, or the biggest kind of feature set we added this time around, was spanning that across both Catalyst and PixelNet. It's something that for Jupiter is a huge milestone, because now we can enable our clients to have a unified environment that's hardware agnostic. What we're not showing on this slide is Canvas can also span across third-party hardware as well, both in terms of smaller build-your-own processors and your BYO devices to be the endpoints. As well as J-Series, which is our point product, which we also brought to market in the last 6 months. Fast, easy to deploy, no operating system or embedded OS, really for point deployments that have single video walls that are a little easier to deploy and manage. Okay. So Canvas really is unified platform for video wall collaboration. Well, we believe that we're leading the market in terms of our feature set and kind of what we're offering, meeting the needs of our clients. So it allows you to seamlessly view and control and manage any device in the Canvas ecosystem. And what that means is from any location that you can VPN to and connect to, you can manage video walls, you can manage sources, you can manage VNC applications through the sources through Canvas. You can manage mobile devices in terms of the feeds coming in and out. There are a plethora of ways to deploy Canvas and then to use it as you go forward. Advanced security features, we're going to talk a lot about that as we go forward, but it is advanced on the user level, it is advanced on the data transmission level in terms of encryption, and then it takes advantage of your security features that you've already built in terms of firewall and some of your security policies that go with it. And again, it allows you to collaborate not just with the users, the workstations in the control room, but also the users who are sitting in remote locations, the video walls plural, and video wall controllers, plural, different workstations, mobile devices. If you can get a web client on it, you can get on the Canvas. And that's sort of what we're going to talk about in terms of it being web-based. So again, it enables enterprise collaboration. The GUI is incredibly intuitive. From a user standpoint, we've got some features that allow it to be to set up presets so you can remote control it very easily. Security is airtight and has been proven. It's not just us saying it's airtight, but has been proven in the field in some of the most high-profile targets that are out there. It allows you to connect, again, to mobile devices, and many of our users are seeing more and more use cases around that, where they have users in the field, whether that's a lineman on a telephone pole shooting a transformer that he has a question about, back to the control room where an expert can give him advice and guidance on that, to Google Glasses and other connected devices that way, which allow you to really kind of, phone a friend and call an expert when you're out in the field, to your tablet to do control when you're walking around the facility and standing in front of the video wall. Instead of having to go to a workstation, you can drive it from a tablet just like you would drive a Crestron control panel. It is video wall agnostic in terms of hardware, and we'll talk about that a little bit as we go forward. Any source, any data, anything we can ingest, Canvas can manage and manipulate. So why Canvas? We talked a little bit about what it is, and Devin's going to talk about some of the features here on the next slide. But really, why Canvas is it's used and trusted. It is, across thousands of installations by your peers, by people who are in your industry who have looked at it, evaluated it, and said, this is the platform we want to use. And it's been tested in real world environments for the last 8 years. So we're not coming to market with something new and saying, hey, give this a shot. This is something that is tried and true. And we're just kind of adding improvements as we go on it. It's deployed in, again, the most high profile, secure environments, the mission critical environments, and again, really life and death environments. Whether it's a hospital control room where you're treating patients coming in and out, whether it's a launch control facility where you've got astronauts strapped on top of a rocket, military, which obviously are life and death, utility in terms of fire control and utility management. We've seen some of the issues, especially here in Northern California and in Texas recently, where, and by the way, none of the Texas stuff was driven on Jupiter systems. We can put that plug in. But kidding aside on that, it's a serious business, and we take it seriously, and we've architected our solution to meet those needs. It is an enterprise software solution as well as a point control room system. So it integrates with AD. It enables automated failover in terms of hardware and software, and it meets your security protocols. mission critical 24/7. We'll talk about that a lot, but it's core to what we do. It's core to what we've always done, and it's core to what we do going forward. And it supports Catalyst, which is our workhorse product family, PixelNet, which is our distributed video platform, and third-party hardware as well. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Devin to talk features a little bit, and we'll go from there.
All right, thank you, Justin. So here's our a couple features. So we just released Canvas 6.5, and here's kind of the high-level feature set. So I'll kind of go through each point. So obviously, what we heard today is the PixelNet hardware integration. So what that means from a Canvas standpoint is that before they had separate interfaces, and so in this we have a lot of projects out there, that wanted the hardware capability of PixelNet, as well as the functionality of Catalyst XL for a different wall, right? And before those were two separate platforms. Now they're integrated in one. So from a single interface, they can actually manage and manipulate and control the wall from a single workstation rather than two different platforms. And that's what we will be demoing today. Now we unleash Simple Share. So Simple Share is our screen casting technology or screen sharing technology. This goes back into our kind of video wall collaboration. Basically, you can take any device, whether it's a Mac or a PC, take your screen and share it basically to the video wall. And from there, now you can distribute that into other video walls or other pieces of hardware as well.
And with that, Devin, a couple of quick features on that, which make it very attractive. It doesn't require any additional hardware, so you're not plugging any dongles in, you're not direct connecting any cables, nor does it require software download. It is web-based, so you don't have to on your environments where where downloads are not enabled. Right, most highly secure network enterprise environments and control room environments, you can't just download applications. It does not require that. So with a simple IP address through your browser, and as long as you're on the secure network, you can share into the video wall, into the processor really, that then gets routed to whatever video wall, whatever source it needs to be. So it really does extend that functionality in a bunch of different ways, and make it applicable and actually usable in production, given today's security requirements.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. As people walk around, come into the office, don't come into the office, right? Being able to be independent on what they do, being able to share content with the video wall or the display in front of them for a conference room is a very powerful thing. So with Canvas, with 6.0, we released our web-based client. Of course, it's out in the field now, so we're getting a lot of feedback on user experience, improving that. One of the big things that I like to do as a product manager is listen to a lot of the customers, get the feedback on our product and really drive us to make a better solution for them ultimately. And so you'll see a lot of improvement on the user experience side as well. And obviously that will continue as we have more releases. We support 12G SDI, so 3G SDI and 12G SDI, which is the 4K version. So we have that support in both the Catalyst and PixelNet side. And we have better DirectView LED wall support as well.
So I mentioned Zavis earlier as the Jupyter DirectView LED solution. And while we would love you to have Jupyter end-to-end, we understand that most environments have a mix of manufacturers in there. So from a processor standpoint, it is LED agnostic. So it can be driving traditional surface mount DirectView LED from any number of manufacturers. It could be driving Jupyter Zavis. Doesn't really matter, but we've optimized that because we're seeing DirectView LED becoming a bigger and bigger piece of the kind of mixed environments that are going into a lot of control rooms and multi-display video wall environments where you have a DirectView LED maybe surrounded by a bunch of LCDs. Those sorts of deployments have seen kind of the use case for that, and we're modifying our hardware and software in order to better fit those needs as well.
All right, so here's the lineup of the supported hardware for Canvas. This is specific to our video wall processors. Like as Justin mentioned earlier, we support a lot of third-party hardware out there. So the BYOD approach, right? You can build your own processor if you want. These are the ones that we sell and get pre-configured in our production floor, and that's how we ship it out. And so Canvas works with all these different hardware platforms. Pre-Canvas 6.5, it was only our Catalyst line, which is our kind of Windows-based or workstation-based processors. Canvas is a unified platform for all of our systems that you see in front of you. So when we do ship it out of our production, everything gets pre-configured, installed, licensed, all those things. So when you receive the unit, basically all you do is configure your video wall, set up your sources, and you're done. We have a lot of different hardware options, as you see in front of you, depending on, for example, the CRS, which is our conference room system, all the way to our Catalyst XL, which is our largest Windows-based system. And then now we have integrated with PixelNet, which offers a really unique opportunity on the hardware side. It's not a Windows system, it's an embedded system, but it has unique hardware capability and functionality. For example, hardware redundancy. For example, every single piece of hardware inside of PixelNet can be redundant. So it is that mission critical 24/7 operation. If a component does go down, it's only that single component. It's not like you have to unwrap the whole thing, unplug cards, you know. So it's very unique in that situation.
And PixelNet, you know, has other advantages as well, because it runs on a private network. We're able to send uncompressed video as long as you can run fiber throughout the different nodes. So we can deploy it across a campus, across a city, in some cases across a country. And it is a single unified system, and without sacrificing video quality and without sacrificing security. It runs a Jupyter proprietary codec, which, you know, is not something that's widely available in the market. So it's much more difficult to get into from a security standpoint. And then finally, on our hardware, on our hardware family, everything is TAA compliant when it comes to the US and US government, allowing us to play in some of those highly secure environments.
All right, and so we've been touting this, basically this whole webinar. Canvas is web-based, right? And so some of the benefits of being a browser-based software is that there is no software installation requirement, right? And so what that means from the deployment side and maintenance side, it makes it a lot easier. Once you upgrade the server, basically anybody who wants to use the system is automatically updated, right? You don't have to go to each machine, uninstall, reinstall, you know, work through some of the permissions issues that sometimes happen when you want to actually physically install something on a machine.
And just to kind of piggyback on that, we do support all major browsers. Yep. So whether you're a Windows shop or a Linux shop, Google shop, doesn't really matter. We'll support all of those major browser environments.
It is permission based, and so this goes into the kind of the security and permission based. We have access object level security. So what that means is if Justin and I are on different permission roles, I may have access to view and control things that he may not have to, or may not have access to. So the easiest way to think about it is, you know, your standard IT infrastructure. You know, you have your system admin, guests, managers, and so you can lay out your security roles basically however you want.
You notice how the technical guy has access to everything and the sales guy can just look at it.
You don't want to break it up.
I know, exactly.
It is airtight cybersecurity. And so as Justin mentioned, a lot of those markets that we're in, right, during the pre-sales and deployment side, right, there's basically like a questionnaire that we typically have to go through, right? It's a question and answer, make sure that our product is designed to lower the risk on their end, right? And that's really a big thing, a process that we have to go through is really the risk assessment and being able to make sure they feel comfortable with these things on the network. It is a BYOD approach, you know, so the workstation, tablets, mobile device, custom hardware. It's very easy for IT to support, right? So for example, we work with the workflow of IT. We integrate with VPNs very easily. We have Active Directory support and those type of things. The last thing I do want to mention, Canvas is 5G ready. We do have mobile device support that can basically enables the mobile device to view content as well as make that mobile device into an IP source, so you can actually stream that your IP stream back into the video wall or the campus ecosystem and be able to push that source wherever you want. All right, so I do the demo that I'll be doing in the next portion will be specific about Mimic. So Mimic is our fully functioning video wall management. Mimic basically replicates what's happening on the video wall, right? That's why we call Mimic. It is web-based, and this is what we introduced in 6.0. It's basically one interface. When you log in, it presents you all the different video walls that you have permission to, right? Not all the walls that are in the system, but what you have permission to. So from that single interface, you can manage basically multiple video walls. It's very easy to use, drag and drop functionality. It has previews for thumbnails, so you can actually do a confidence preview. So you wait before you actually put it up on the wall. And we support a lot of different types of inputs other than, the direct inputs. This includes VNC, websites, simple share that we discussed earlier, pictures. So a lot of different types of inputs rather than the standard HDMI input or direct inputs that a lot of other people have. All right, so we'll jump into the demo here. And so what I'll do is just bring the screen over. And so I quickly just want to go through what you're seeing here. Oh, let me change the video. So what you're seeing in front of you is our video wall. And so we have the user interface here. So as I move and manage the user interface, what you'll see is that it is upside down. Sorry. No, it's not. Okay, sorry. So what you're seeing in front of you is basically the video wall. And so as I move around the windows, resize the window, right, this is what we call Mimic. And so you can easily move, manage, and manipulate kind of any window that you want. It is drag and drop. So as I expand all the sources here, this is basically my source list. And you can easily just, drag and drop any of these sources, move them over. And as you can see here, it's very easy to move and manage and manipulate. It's very intuitive. So there is no kind of user training, if you want to think of it that way.
And just as a note, this is running on a PixelNet system. So we set up this demo. It's the same demo we did for our PixelNet webinar a couple of months ago, but now we're able to put Canvas on top of that hardware.
Yeah. So as like I said earlier, right, you have a single web page that you basically log into. If you want to go to a different video wall, you basically click this. Right, and now I'm on my Catalyst XL that I have here. So the setup that I have here is a Catalyst XL driving a single 4K display.
I'm not showing that.
Yeah, which I'm not showing. And the PixelNet wall that you have in front of you, which is on the webcam, right? And so it's very easy to use. Obviously, what the majority of people use is layouts. So if I go to my layout section, I click a layout, it basically enables me to easily kind of load all the pre-tech contents that I have on the wall. Just close this. And so these are all the different layouts that I have, and then I'm going to be doing another demo after this, which will show you an easier way to, from the user experience side, to manage your video wall as well. And so with a single click, you can basically load up all your different layouts or presets or configurations that you want. All right, so that was a quick demo of Mimic. We'll move on to an easier way to actually manage the video wall, which is the 90% of how customers, once they set up the wall, right, using Mimic, they set up all their presets, layouts, all their sources. Once they're now in what we call production mode, basically all they want to do is use a very simple and easy way to configure the wall and manage the wall. And so that's why we introduced this new feature called Layout Launcher, which is essentially all the layouts that I just showed represented in physical buttons, right?
Switch to the content. Oh,
sorry.
No, but you're showing the video wall still.
All right, so the layout launcher is really a simple wall management. It is web-based. It works on basically any device, desktop, tablet, or phones. It enables you kind of customize the user interface a little bit. You'll be able to filter out any unused layouts, and also you can change the background in order to match, what the end customer has, if you want to change that out as well. And really, the two different reasons why you want to use Mimic or Layout Launcher. Mimic is really typically reserved for, supervisors or setting up or configuring the system. Whereas Layout Launcher is, once you're done with that and you're into the production mode and just want to throw windows up on a wall with one button click, that's when the Layout Launcher comes into play. And so I will be, there we go. So, so in front of you, this is what the Layout Launcher looks like. And so I do want to show you one thing. So this is the Mimic interface. If you notice, these are all the different layouts that are configured in the system, right? And if I go to my Layout Launcher, what Canvas does for you is looks at all the layouts for that specific wall you want to manage, and then represents and throws them up as buttons. So with one click, go over to the video wall. So with one click, you can easily, change your layout on the wall. There we go. So it's very easy, very simple to use. This works on kind of any device. Typically people use the standard Crestron AMX of the world, right? You can easily replace that, use a mobile device, an iPad, or you can easily load this on your desktop if you want. And so it's very easy, very simplified user video wall management.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about, switch the camera, about a couple of use cases real quick before we get into the Q&A. We mentioned utility briefly as we go forward, but I wanted to dive into that in just a little more detail. So public utility companies, and this is, sort of a generic public utility company, if you will, but it spans across all the ones we've encountered so far. Security is their number one concern. When you're running a nuclear power plant, when you're, an electrical grid or a water supply system, again, it's pretty mission critical. And so security is kind of key to that kind of. It is paramount, I think is a better way to put it, in those environments. So we want to make sure that we're meeting all the security environments and anticipating things that might come going forward. Over the last 12 months or so, 15 months maybe, COVID-19 has become more and more prevalent in society, which has necessitated a reduction in on-site staff, the users and operators having to take steps to take care of their people, which means physical distancing, which means less people in the room and more people situated remotely, and that can be in a cube, in a conference room, or a home office sort of environment. I'd say Starbucks, but we're not sitting at Starbucks right now, but you could be at Starbucks as well. Integration with existing Catalyst video wall processors, that kind of goes without saying. Those are our workhorse family and ones that in the utility space seems to be the most popular choice. The ability to manage different walls at different sites. We have locations with upwards of 20 walls, or utilities actually, with upwards of 20 walls running under a single unified Canvas environment. And that can be anything from, gas operations in one site to 20 miles down the road or 100 miles down the road could be a fire control system, could be an electrical operation system. The redundant sites for those primary sites, which are geographically dispersed, kind of scattered across the footprint of the utility, and we need the ability to manage those no matter where they're at across the globe at some point. To talk about to collaborate in real time as events come up, we need the operators. I mean, the reason they're there is to see what's going on and then take action on that. And the ability to collaborate, not just peer-to-peer, but also supervisor to operator is critical, as is the ability to audit trail those kind of decisions, snapshot what's going on, and take a picture of what's happening and what actions are going on. The persistence of the IM feature that goes with that is critical, because you always want to go back and look at those and to coach from those actions that happen to make sure that it will you can improve your services going forward. So the ability, again, the data has to be available for managers and supervisors. Security, we've beat that dead horse quite a bit, but it's paramount what we do, and it has to work in our users' environment. And again, as much as possible, we want to make sure that there's not a secondary application, there's no download, there's no installation. It works on the devices that are there today. So Canvas fits all those. With short answer, with the web-based client, with the enterprise needs going for that, with the security on VPN, encryption, the different role-based permissions inside the enterprise, where you don't let the sales guy control it because he might break something, where the smart guy in the room actually has control over things. We extend that kind of thought as users can use what they need to use, administrators can manage what they need to manage across multiple levels. From a topology standpoint, prior to Canvas, everything sat inside the firewall, and that was okay when people were able to sit in the same conference room. It was becoming less and less okay, but traditionally it was more okay because you had operators sitting shoulder to shoulder in a control room and doing the vast majority of the work there. But the world has changed. We've got not only workers needing to be socially distanced, but also changing work styles and environments where many workers are working remotely. And so we need the ability to extend that, not just to the remote worker who's sitting on his couch and turning his home TV into a video wall, casting it from his laptop running Canvas, to a remote worker who might be sitting in a conference room or a breakout room, being able to view that same data or a subset of that data, to in the utilities space, your utility worker out in the field who has a question about a piece of equipment that's malfunctioned, and rather than getting in there and risking bodily harm and further damage, he can turn his phone or his Google Glasses or whatever into a streaming source, send it back into the Canvas environment. It can be manipulated and managed across the video wall and the operator workstations, and really kind of call that expert who can guide him through it on a step-by-step basis in order to control that and to effect that repair quickly, get your service back up, and keep everybody safe in the process. Law enforcement is the other quick use case that I'll run through. We're deployed across innumerable law enforcement agencies, both in terms of 911 emergency response systems, as well as traffic control systems, both road, rail, air, you name it. That we've kind of lumped traffic control under law enforcement, but it really fits the same kind of use case and deployment needs and requirements. So from a customer requirement standpoint, it's a little different in terms of the inputs, because a lot of times we're talking hundreds, thousands of CCTV cameras, different sources scattered around a city, a country, an airport, a rail network So we need to be able to pull in more sources that are real-time video. It has to be compliant with the specific requirements that go into emergency services responses, which are a little different than utility or some of the others. There are different needs and requirements that go into that in terms of response time and some of the other certifications that go with that. Again, these are life and death situations, so it really does have to be both hardware, software, redundant, to automatically fail over in an active mode, and make sure to guarantee that 24/7 uptime availability. Again, geographically dispersed, different walls, different video wall processors. One of our larger installation has 18 control rooms that are managed in under a single canvas environment. 18 different processors driving 18 different walls with users not only in those rooms, but working remotely in the police car. We're extending it pretty much everywhere, and it is universally accessible. We're not siloing these anymore, and Canvas enables you to kind of reach across boundaries to do that. And again, the sources can be viewed and streamed on any video wall and any device. Again, Canvas for a lot of these is Catalyst XL. The security protocols we talked about, we can do it on a VM, so it fits into your existing IT infrastructure. And again, web-based, no software installation. If it's browser, it works.
All right, so I do want to give you kind of a short roadmap about what we're doing in the next 6 months. So we are coming out with a new graphics board for our Catalyst line. Graphics board is obviously an extremely, actually in my opinion, the most important part of a video wall processor. So we are coming out with that, and we also will be introducing a new Catalyst product as well, which is called the Catalyst 5, or V for Roman numeral. That will be a 5-slot PCI Express system with i9 CPU options as well. And so we will have hardware redundancy, from the fans to the power supplies. And so we'll still have that mission critical hardware option if you want, but we will be introducing a new Catalyst line or a new Catalyst model into the Catalyst line. So in summary, so I do want to quickly go review some of the Canvas 6.5 points. It is a unified platform for PCs, mobile devices, all the Catalyst products and models, and now specifically what this webinar is for, the Pixelbit hardware. It does have extensive web-based features and security options as well. We have now introduced Simple Share into all the different Canvas clients that we have. So it's not only locked to the CRS platform, it's locked, or now it's unlocked to all the different hardware options that we have in the product family. We have improved user experience as well. We do have 12G and 3G SDI support, and we do have better direct view LED wall support for our Xavis product and other LED products.
So finally, as I'm wrapping it up, I want to thank everybody for joining. I really enjoyed this. I hope you guys got out of it what you were looking for. If you didn't, and even if you did, reach out to your sales rep or email sales@jupiter.com. We'd love to talk to you in more detail. We'd love to talk about your kind of specific applications and how we can help each other and kind of, work together in order to drive this really, unique and industry leading solution out there in the market. Get a little plug in for our social networking. As we know, a lot of the face-to-face interactions have declined. So we're putting a big focus on our social. So follow us on LinkedIn, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're reaching out on Twitter and Instagram as well. So you can find us at Jupiter Systems on all 4 of those platforms in order to get the most up to date. And we're communicating on those on a daily, weekly kind of basis. So again, subscribe to our social platforms. We'd love to reach out to you that way. We'll connect with you however we can connect with you. Finally, we're going to do our next webinar. We're going to continue with some of the Canvas story, if you will, and really kind of focus on some of the use cases in our March webinar. So we'll dive into more detail. I kind of went over them briefly, a couple of them, but there's dozens of use cases for canvassing in different environments and different verticals that we'll talk about, as well as we'll spend some more time on the security aspect. That is, more and more important as we continue to evolve. We're going to spend a little more time on kind of diving into some of the security features as well in that March webinar. April webinar is probably going to be around our Zavis DirectView LED product. And then we will continue these on a monthly basis on kind of as Jupiter's bringing new solutions to the market. So again, thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it answered some of the questions you were looking for. And call your sales rep. Thank you.
Thank you.